we're going to finish. We're getting close to the end.
Yes, we are.
We're getting close. We're phase 3. We looked at what the Old Testament says about Christ's kingdom. We looked at what Jesus says. We're in the New Testament writers. And then later we're going to see what Jesus does. And then we're going to move on. Potholes and roadblocks, right? Something like that? Pitfalls? Something.
Landmines and barriers.
Landmines and barriers.
Yeah,
So, it's been an ongoing study. We've gone from Babylonian captivity to the prophecies of Christ, life of Christ. We've been looking at the kingdom of Christ. Now we're looking at, unfortunately, what keeps people out. This would be the next one.
Or runs them off.
What runs them off? Yeah, which again keeps them out. You know, yeah. It's as I've thought of several things. It's more than just sin. So I use Kaufman's commentary. I get that online, studylight.com. Kaufman is Church of Christ, Restoration Movement guy. I also use Barnes Notes. Today, I'm going to tell you I was probably more influenced by Barnes Notes than Kaufman's Notes, which is not very usual. But he's Presbyterian Calvinist. I'll put that out there in case for some reason you see that I was Calvinistic in something. I got influenced by something else. Bible Gateway is where I usually copy and paste text from. I say I usually use the English Standard Version. Today I'm using the Legacy Standard. I tried that several weeks ago. I botched that. And something was slaughtered, but I turned it into laughter. So, yeah.
You probably were taking out all the little letters.
Yeah, I took out the little footnotes, the A, the B.
Yeah.
So I botched it, but anyways.
From slaughter to laughter.
I turned slaughter to laughter, as we all should, right? So didn't have the greatest connotation to it, but that's a 2021 New American, it's an update, 2021 update to the New American Standard. I know a lot of people use the New American Standard. I think Chuck prefers the New American Standard. That's a pretty common Church of Christ Bible, is the New American Standard. And I think it comes out of the Revised Standard, which comes out of the American Standard, which was something out of the King James itself. So I tried it out again. You know, if you like it, great. If you're looking for a new Bible, great. If not, we'll try stuff out. You see if it's terrible, we'll move on. StudyLight.org is where I use commentaries, language tools, maps. I don't think I have any maps today. Color scheme. You know, Matt uses a color scheme, and for the life of me, I've never really figured out what it is, but he tries to tie blue to blue and red to red. Here's my color scheme. Yellow is the words of man, white's the word of God. That's just the color scheme I use. So I'll define that, because like I said, with Matt sometimes, I've had to teach his lessons. It's like, what's the colors go with? So I'm usually good at spotting patterns. So today's lesson, Chuck last week talked about Ephesians 4, to be imitators of Christ. And he got down to one last slide that he didn't get to in that section. So I turned that into a whole class. So we'll see how that goes. But I took that one slide. So Chuck, you're only one slide away from where you were last time. So,
Okay.
so
Like 9 or 15 slides.
No, you still got 8 to 14 slides. Kaufman starts out in his thing on Ephesians 5. It says walk. It's a metaphor for general behavior. It's used in this chapter to admonish Christians to walk in love, to walk in the light, and walk in wisdom. And I've got the 3 verses there with those underlined. We're not going to get much farther than that. Actually, that's as far as we're going to get. Verse 21, and some of that kind of speeds up as we get there. But to walk in love, walk as children of light, and walk not as unwise, but as wise. So that's the general message of these verses. So walk's a good metaphor for general behavior. Who likes the word walk? I mean, is that a good word for that? We talk about our Christian walk.
Well, if you look at what we do, how we move around, we walk. I mean, if it was to say run, you say, oh, that much run. Well, people don't spend a lot of time running. Myself, I don't spend any time running. But walk is what you do constantly every day.
Constantly.
I think it's probably a good metaphor.
Especially 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, 2,000 years ago, you're right. They didn't jump in the car. They didn't get on a plane. And they walked, which Chuck's going to do today. He doesn't have to ride on the back of a donkey for three weeks to get to Dallas. Yeah, walk is what you do. And you feel the ground. You talk to the people. You stop and smell stuff. Not always a good thing, I guess, but that's one of Camille's a social worker, and she does counseling right now. That's her job. She does mental health counseling primarily. And some of the things people need to do is to ground themselves, to reattach. They get so caught up in depression, anxiety, the weight of the world. And one of her things is touch grass. It's not one of her things, it's common. Touch grass. It's a movement that's kind of there. Go out and touch the grass. Go outside. Walk slow. Take stuff in. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Take some time to watch the birds. See what's different. Some stuff like that. And she does that. And she's talked about this over time. And it was actually yesterday morning. She's got to write a paper for the class she's taking. She goes, I can't concentrate. And I said, grab the dog and go for a walk. Tell me what you see that's different. Tell me what birds you see. And she did, and she said that made a big difference. And she also reminded me that I am not a social worker. I am an engineer. So it worked.
When I think about when I run, like you say, you miss stuff, but also that's when I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. When you run, I find that myself sometimes. You're in a rush. Work here. Here sometimes I got too much stuff going on and I miss the good stuff. You know, last night they talked about, it was trivia from Christmas shows and stuff. I watched those growing up. Very few of them can I say I watched with my kids. So, you know, I think we ran too much sometimes. We did a lot of stuff, and I don't think we always just sat down and watched network TV, which I can't necessarily say is a great thing or bad thing either, but you know, today, as you move the streaming, you might not see Charlie Brown's Christmas. You might not see the latest new show that comes out. I mean, I love the claymation stuff with Rudolph. Heat Miser and Cold Miser. I don't know what the other guy's called. We always say Grant looks like Heat Miser because his hair is standing on end. I love that stuff, but yeah, it became less of a part of life probably because of running. So anyways, we'll go walk. Go ahead.
Years ago, it was discovered that it's very good for your health to walk in grass. It has to do with the difference between the body and the earth,
Yeah.
the electrical charge.
The electrical charge in your body. All the time I've spent at Chain Lakes coaching soccer, I see people running out there barefoot. It's like they got a 1 mile loop and stuff. You can run the path, but there are some people that just run the field out there and they'll do it barefoot. To feel the ground and stuff. There's also no dogs allowed out there. Doesn't keep away the thousands of birds, but no dogs.
So. Running has become a way of life and makes you wonder where it's coming from. Because once again, you miss stuff and you make mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see people, they drive that way. This morning at the shop, I heard motorcycles had to be going 100 miles an hour. Easily, coming down 407, I'm inside the shop and I could hear that stuff. And then I don't know where you think you're going, but I'll also tell you the physics, what happens if you miss something. Walking's good for your health, yeah. Yeah, most of us, I know the watches, the Fitbits and stuff like that, mine's a Garmin, but anyways, they measure steps, how many steps you get in a day, and you need to, yeah, it's good for you in a lot of different ways. So our walk is a good description, I think. Ephesians 5, 1 through 2. I got part of that blacked out, but we'll get to it, I hope. Therefore, be imitators of God. The word imitators, mimetes, is the Greek word. For those who don't speak Greek, like me, mimetes. One of the definitions, I got 3 dictionaries I looked at, but one of them says it's an artist, especially one who impersonates characters as an actor or a poet. Does that sound like a good description of an imitator?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's not in a rush, because he's in complete control, he's not bound by time.
I like that. Not bound by time. He's not in a rush. It's complete control. What English words might be related to mimetes? What English words?
Emulate.
What's that?
Emulators.
Emulate would be in there. Emulator, emulate, I could see that, right? Drop that first M. I could see that. What else?
Mimic,
Mimic.
immense.
I saw Chuck's lips moving, but no word came out, and I thought he was trying to say mime. I was like, wow, that was effective, Chuck. He's trapped.
My head is faith.
Faith?
Yeah, faith. Because if you have faith, why rush?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, and I think that's the whole key there with that too, with that walk. With faith, you don't have to rush. You walk and you spread the love. You walk in, you know, as a child of light. So. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Definitely worried when you rush a lot of times. Anything else?
Be as.
What's that?
Be as.
Be as? Okay, yeah. Be as God, be like God. I can see that. You got several words. We had mime, pantomime, acting, basically. Mimic, mimeograph. Anybody ever use a mimeograph machine? Susan used a mimeograph. The church bulletin comes off a version of a mimeograph. Yep, it's a copier. That's really what it was. It was different kinds of chemicals and stuff. Was that the old purple?
Oh, yeah.
What's that, formaldehyde or something in that stuff?
Yeah, that's something.
It's something, yeah. We had the purple when I was in school, elementary school. We had that stuff still. We had the two-part copier at work where it was it printed, no, it was the fax, I think it was anyways, it came in a two-part type thing. You had to develop it or something. It was, I don't know, it was crazy. But mimeograph's the same way, copying machine. You expect, have you seen this picture on the internet? It's really terrible, probably up on the big screen right there. What's wrong with this picture?
The angle of her left is wrong.
And
Still should be almost looking more forward, not a side view.
the three views of her are all different. Her hands are different in every one of these. My understanding of this is it was taken with an iPhone. Okay? They're at an angle. An iPhone took this, and iPhones don't really have a camera. The phones are typically they're video cameras. They're not still cameras. So then to make a better picture, it kind of takes parts from different frames and puts it together. So her arms are in three different positions in these mirrors and stuff, probably because it had a 5-second video or something that it pieced together. So the frame on the left, her arms are down. Herself, she has a left arm down and a right arm up, and in the right one, she's got both arms up.
AI.
Yeah, the AI again. It interpreted that. Those were the clearest views at that time, and it pieced them together. But a mirror typically is a good copy, a good imitator, right? You look in the mirror, other than the fact that it's backwards. Have you ever seen a mirror that does the right way, where it's your right hand shows up on the other side? Those are freaky. Those are freaky. But mirrors are typically good copies, not in fun houses, not in iPhone videos of a bride, but they're typically a good copy, about as good of a copy as you can get. There was a story, we had a salesman one time that was somewhere, he told the story that he was somewhere and he said, I forget where he was, but he said he kept seeing this guy following him. And he said he looked familiar and he'd wave at him. He said the guy would wave back. He'd wave at him again, he'd wave at him. He says, he frowned at him, and that guy frowned even bigger than he could. Anyway, it turned out it was mirrors sporadically in this wherever he was at, and he was himself. It was what it was. It was kind of funny, but mirrors are probably as best of an imitator. So be a mirror of God would be a good way to be an imitator. The best imitations look the closest to the original. We know that. How would you pass off a counterfeit $100 bill? Don't go to Denny's. They're going to snag you, aren't they?
I got the machine that'll tell you.
Well, you got a machine. Even better than the pen, huh?
Yeah.
So the paper's out there now. The paper's out in the wild. So they got a machine. I think even this picture I stole is not a good picture. They put a watermark on there so nobody just prints that out. That pen's not on a $100 bill, is it? I don't know if it is or not. I didn't look. So don't go to Denny's, because they got something that's better in your eyes.
About mirrors, there's something wrong with the ones I look at.
I look older in the mirror at home there. Yeah, that thing, well, the mirror's as long as the house, so it's gotten older too. So you're going to have make a good copy. You're going to have good paper. You're going to have a good printer. There's watermarks on the $100 bill. There's that metal strip on the inside. There's a lot of stuff to make in a $100 bill. You're going to have to print a lot of them if you want to ever make a buck off of it. But you're going to have a really good copy to pass one off, right? You can't
You
just...
gotta have the right paper, this cloth in it.
You can feel it. You can feel it is. It's linen. You can feel the paper. People I know that handle a lot of money, bank tellers and stuff, they said they can pull one out. Recognize this picture? Chuck's jaw's open. He says no. This picture is called Prado's Mona Lisa. My understanding, what I can read from the workshop of Leonardo da Vinci, possibly painted by one of his students at the same time that da Vinci painted his own Mona Lisa. So he's teaching this guy how to paint, and they basically had the same idea, same paint, the same canvas, the same time. So this is like one of the oldest copies that's available of the Mona Lisa. It doesn't quite look like the Mona Lisa, but that's probably as good of a copy as you'll ever see because the guy had the right tools, the right time, the right teacher. That painting itself is worth big bucks. Not like the original, but it's still worth big bucks. The background's a lot different. As a matter of fact, the first time I saw it, I thought they had like Mount Rushmore in the background. I was like, who did that? But no, so that's the story on that one. So,
The center of Italy is very mountainous.
is it? Center of Italy is very mountainous.
It made it tough in World War II. Tough sledding through the middle of
I'll bet.
the country.
Well,
My dad went
that's where your dad went.
up through Italy.
Italy's a complex place. Complex place. I understand Da Vinci took several years to do the Mona Lisa, and he'd take it to parties and stuff and set up and work on it. So he carried it with him, which is very bizarre, but he was a bizarre guy. Anyways, that's as good a copy, close to the original. Can you name some movies or TV shows where the actors were faithful imitations of the characters they were represented from books or real life? Have you seen some movies that are like biography type stuff? I know we watched the Johnny Cash movie a while back. It was Patton. Probably if you said, show me a picture of Patton, you had a picture of Patton and George C. Scott, more people would pick George C. Scott than they would Patton himself, probably. Yeah. Charlton Heston is Moses, you know. He is Moses, so, you know. You get the idea. There's some people who do a faithful job, and it almost as good as the original, or is good, you know. And sometimes as a reader, I'll read a book, and then I'll see a movie, and it's like, oh, that movie's terrible, you know. They don't even get the feel of it sometimes. They don't make a good copy. Okay.
Charlton Heston as Moses is my favorite. He just epitomized what
As what you could think of, he did a great job on it. And that movie's an epic. I mean, the scenery, the whole deal, they try to make movies like that. And with the technology and stuff,
Yeah, for that big movie
yeah,
at that time.
at that time.
That's impressive.
It is. It's impressive. But like I said, yeah, if some of the stuff, you've seen it. I've had to fight with kids or, well, even adults sometimes. I saw it in a movie. It's not what the Bible says. Some of these things, it's like, I saw it, and it's not what the Bible says, you know. So they've done a faithful job, but they didn't make a good copy.
Watch a lot of those movies and you go, oh, that is so wrong.
So we've seen it. There's good copies. How can we be imitators of God when we have never seen Him? Read the book. There you go. I like that. Read the book. More and more as I age and get experience, reading the book seems to be the key to a lot of that right there. Read the book, come to Bible class, study.
More in the book than there is movie,
There are a lot more.
because a movie, they have to cut it for the TV or whatever. The book, you guys keep reading it,
Oh, they're embellished.
Or embellished. Oh yeah, the embellished part. Because there's some stuff, you got to fill the gaps when making a movie. It's got to be an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. Yeah, what happened between here and there. Me and Grant once, I took him to The Hobbit. I had read it as a kid. I read it again when he read it. We went and saw the first episode of The Hobbit. And he goes, Dad, the thing was like, where did this stuff come from? I was like, well, welcome to the real world, son. I took him to Waffle House. We had a man-to-man talk about how the world will destroy good stuff. So,
Then you get fiction that tries to write on top of it.
yeah, fiction.
Angels and demons and everything else, and people start saying, well, it says this here. It's like, that's not scripture.
Yeah,
It's fiction.
fiction. The words of man will sometimes override the words of God.
And it says it's fiction.
It says it's fiction, but it sticks in the mind. The description's better.
So that's why Susan says she doesn't read a lot of those books. It's because she's teaching Bible class. She has ladies' Bible class and run into it frequently. Somebody says, well, this is what happened. And they've read a fiction book.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it says in the scripture.
Right. Yeah. I had quoted something in here one day. I talked about something, and Hank Harris caught me after class, and he goes, I'll tell you, that's the itching ears that it talks about in Scripture. I said, well, I'm not looking to, it goes to what you're looking, and it'll stick in there sometimes, like you say, above the truth because it's more recent, it has a better image. He says, the itching ears, he said, that stuff it'll take the place sometimes. And it was a good warning. It was a fair warning. It was a fair warning. So, go ahead.
Reading the Bible, you get different things in it by one is just reading it, another one is a little bit slower, and you can more experience it.
Yes. I've done the reading New Testament in a year, and it's some days you're not in the mood to read, to be honest, and that might be that we get rid of it, but some days you read 4 times as much.
If you're distracted, put it down.
Yeah.
Come back later.
But some of that is you're just reading it. The more times you read it, the more stuff you see. But I know Chuck and I teach in this class, you slow down and you see stuff. It's like it is, it's a walk. You start noticing all the little details and
That's
things.
why we ask the question. Did you think about this? Did you think about that?
Yeah.
The whole idea behind the question.
The whole idea of the question is to open it up. It's to see what you see. I mean, right now it's 9:30, and we're 5 words into the lesson is all we are, right? You know, have we embellished it or have we opened it up to what we see? So that's really where we're at. How can we be imitators of God without playing God? Because part of that, you can be an imitator of God by showing the love and the mercy. We don't want to be the imitator of God where we start passing judgments, do we? You got to see bad for. What's that?
Not be an imitator then.
You know, that's a good point because he still sees, he knows it, but he finds a path through it. He's already provided a path. Christ is the way through sin. Christ is the path through or past all that stuff. So you can see it, and you need to know it's there. That playing God, a lot of people like to issue judgments on stuff too, or people. Issue judgments on people.
And there's things you can tell somebody because it says it's wrong in scriptures. You can say that's wrong. If you have an interpretation of what's in the scriptures and say it's wrong, that's your opinion. And to me, the judgment that Paul's talking about in Romans is he's talking about the final judgment. From what I understand, the church really grew in the 50s because we tell people, if you don't do that, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
You have no idea where somebody's going.
Mm.
And quite honestly, I am thrilled that I'm not involved in that judgment at all. I don't want to be. It's not my place. It's not my grace. It's His. It's all His. And He's got it. When somebody asks me that, he says, what do you think? I said, I think He's going to do what He's going to do. It's His grace.
It's His grace.
I can't tell the future. You can't tell the future. I don't know where you're going to be.
And Chuck and I are both somebody who came to Christ a little later in life. That if you made that judgment too early, we would have never got there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's times people stray to come back, and there's, yeah, you got to have. Like I said, don't be God, but be a good copy. Starts out with therefore. If you've ever been in a Mike Shoemate class, you got to know what it's there for, right? He always uses that line. Pertains to the previous chapter, and Chuck talked a lot about that. Imitate the kindness, never be weary of doing good, bear with others, hear the pleas for mercy, be ready to forgive. Those are all from the last chapter. That ties to that. How can you tell when kids are loved? You can see kids, you see them here. If you ever coach soccer, I can see kids that are loved and kids who are not loved. How can you tell when kids are loved?
Good reaction.
Their reaction to what?
They show love.
They show love, they're happy.
I think they show self-confidence also.
I like the self-confidence thing. We tried to make sure that, Jamie in particular, we did things where she gained confidence. Is that good?
And a lot of times they have a very supportive family.
Very supportive family. Through the good or bad. You got to get through the bad, you know. Dips happen. How can people tell when people are loved? Just adults, maybe. Is there a difference?
They more communicative?
Yeah, you know, sometimes they are. They talk more. And you can usually tell by the crowd they have, whether they're isolated or if they have friends and family.
You're happy?
They're happy.
Less stressed.
Yeah, that's true.
Deal with situations differently.
Yeah, deal with situations differently. Sometimes some stuff will freak people out. It's like, just no. Just, you get through it. Life will be that way. Life could freak you out, but
They also have better perspective on life. They're always, somebody who's not loved on dead may be always chasing something. They don't know what, it's something, because something's missing. So they're not secure, they're not relaxed. They're not always looking for something. They found it. It's found them.
yeah, people who are loved have found it. They're not looking for it. And they might not even know what it is they're missing.
No, they just go from thing to thing.
People who are not loved do a lot of what we were just talking about before, judging.
Yes, yeah, and they'll judge others because they've been judged, or at least they judge themselves if they're not. I think some of Camille's, I will guess that a large percentage of her clients with counseling have been people who are there because of not being loved in some sort of fashion, whether it's
They use a lot of accusation on other people.
sure,
I'm a victim of this, I'm a victim of that,
I'm a victim, yeah.
I'm a victim, they play the victim card.
That's a hard one to get past, especially if you've ever been pointed out as being the one that caused this. Rita?
I think my dad was an orphan by the time he was 10. His mom had died, and his dad was a moonshiner, so he was pretty much on his own going farm to farm. I've never met a more positive person, I don't think, in my life for the circumstances he was in. Everything he'd go through, he'd say, buck up, it's gonna be okay,
It'll be okay.
buck up.
Some people who've been through tough times, they
He never heard no pity story before me, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. I know one time I was at kids, I didn't have any grandparents, and I so had missed not having, they were all dead. And the kids down the street on Sundays years ago, people went to their grandmothers on Sunday for afternoon dinner. And I was standing at the fence, I think I was in tears because I was thinking how much I wanted a grandparent. And my daddy come out there and I said, I was tired of having a grandparent to go see. And he kind of laughed and said, well, heck, I'd like to have parents. But he made a joke out of it, you know.
sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, not having parents, he could relate to not having grandparents. You know, it was even a tougher
You
time.
gotta survive,
He learned how to survive.
Survivor, and he was,
young.
and he came from nothing, you know, I mean, it wasn't like he had some rich relative gonna help him out. And my mom was more the negative, and he was the positive.
There you go. And this this sentence, therefore be imitators of God as beloved children. We're beloved children of God, and we should imitate him as that, as if we're loved. It should show. The people around us should see it. We don't need the bumper sticker, the necklace, the tattoo.
Grandmother was the best grandmother ever, because we didn't have anything, but she helped, you know.
Oh yeah, grandma. I know the kind of grandma that helps out when you don't have enough. They slide a little extra in there or something.
Yeah.
Yep. My mom has many stories of her grandma doing that same thing. They didn't have much, but she'd get to come on up the hill and help me bake cookies or whatever it was.
Yeah, she did a lot of baking
Yep.
and a lot of canning and stuff, and we ended up getting a lot of it, you know, 'cause she was good.
That's good grandparents. I saw some stuff on somebody being a grandparent this week. How about angry, unforgiving, and unkind people? Does that reflect on the way God treats them? Can people see it? Yes. We don't even need to go any farther on that. It can be seen. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children and walk in love, just as Christ also loved us and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma. How can we, as beloved children of God, be imitators of him and walk in love? And in John 13:34, it says, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I've loved you, that you also love one another. By this, all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. So one way that we can be imitators of God as beloved children is to love one another. And as this passage says, everyone will see. Not everyone. Everyone can see. It says, as Christ also loved us, he gave himself for us. 1 John 3:16, by this we have known love, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers. There's another way that we can be imitators of God, of laying down our lives, which is, I don't know that this is a sacrifice thing. It is a sacrifice, but it's not a blood sacrifice type thing. Jesus' sacrifice on the cross was a consecration. It kind of set things aside. It changed. It's a sin offering, a peace offering, a sin offering. It's got sin offering twice. A thank offering that were received well by God the Father. The offering which Christ made was one of love. Our lives should sacrifice everything which opposes love in order to imitate the influence of Christ, promote love. The next few verses, and I know I'm going to finish, but doesn't finish. Ephesians 5:3-5, right? Doesn't finish. With sexual immorality or any impurity or greed must not even be named among you, as is proper among saints, or filthiness, or foolish talk, or coarse jesting, which are not fitting, but rather giving of thanks. For this you know with certainty that no one sexually immoral, or impure, or greedy, who is an idolater, has an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God. This is some of the stuff in there, it hits home. You know, I find myself guilty of some of that, you know. When you look at foolish talk and coarse jesting, sometimes it's just, the word in there, greed, covetousness. When we understand the sexual immorality, which in Greek is porneia, how does greed tie into that? This is selfishness, wanting more and more. And with the sexual immorality, it's the same kind of thing. It's wanting something more.
Usually that happens with younger people. Because you're not mature enough to know the difference.
Yeah, not mature enough to know the difference.
Yeah.
It says it's self-gratification.
Self-gratification on both sides. I like that. That's, again, like Clayton talked about people running today. That's what I see, is that self-gratification, and I want it now. You know, the internet, I can get any answer I want pretty much now. I don't have to carry it with me till I'm around somebody who knows an answer, or go to the library or something like that. I can find the answer now. Foolish talk, in Greek it's morolgia. You know, close enough. Yeah, morolgia. There we go. I need Fernando. Sounds Spanish. Probably it's more Spanish than it is English. It only appears one time in the New Testament, right here. It's a compound word of moros and lego. It's Stupid or godless combined with exhortation, advising, affirming. So foolish talk encourages someone to be godless. Is really, if you look at the root of the word. That's moron comes from, it does. Stupid, godless, moron definitely comes from that. So that talk encourages someone to be godless. You know, it's the root of the word. And we can see that because it takes the love out of it. It takes the
Well, how does a lot of that happen? Somebody's going to be the object of the joke.
yes.
That's not love.
That's not love. It's the object of the joke, and sometimes you see stuff and it's like you can't help but see it. But the dog watches Deal or No Deal. We leave that on the TV. And one day it was a family of short people, or small people, whatever. And they went to talk to the family, and the dad, they asked, Dad, what do you do? And he goes, I'm a basketball coach. The guy's this tall. And he said he was a basketball coach. I laughed at it. And so anyways, but it was, I don't know. Anyways, we'll get through it. I saw this on the internet today, and we'll put it on here. The guy on the left won the Heisman. His inside of his jacket has him doing the Heisman pose. The guy on the right is from Washington. The inside of his jacket has all his teammates' names in it. I don't know either one of these guys.
The quarterback for LSU.
Yeah, I know they're both quarterbacks. But I like the guy that's got the Heisman pose, he won the Heisman. There's nothing, you know, if you're on top, be on top. Guy on the right from Washington, that's a class move right there to have all your teammates' names. So, anyways, that guy, you know, I like that, so I just included it. We'll go on from there. Chuck will pick up next week. I got 1,000 things in there. As imitators of God, you have a limited time to influence the world to His love and mercy through Jesus Christ. Make the most out of it. And I think that's really the key to where it all is. We are loved. You do influence the world. Make the most out of your time. So leave it with that. Thank you.
You know where to pick up?
Yes. You know.